So, was the sports media wrong about Angel Reese? Coming right on. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logic Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So as we know that LSU, the ladies basketball team, won the NCAA championship, the first in LSU's history, men's or women. And as a Louisiana native and a huge LSU fan, I was happy. And it was a very exciting game watching them and seeing them win that championship. You know, when you see your university, your school that you support wins, it's always good. But as we know, during the celebration, Angel Reese did a taunting to Iowa star player Caitlin Clark. Now, she did the John Cena, "You Can't See Me," and there was a whole controversy about it because she was criticized on it. The national media said that it was classless, a lack of sportsmanship on her part. And then, of course, no surprise, here come the race hustlers and them dragging other black folks along. They were crying about how this is racism, and they were saying, because how do you criticize the black woman for doing it, but you don't criticize Caitlin Clark when she did it, right? And then, of course, the usual suspects in sports media, they start race hustling.
Well, first of all, I don't disagree with anything that you're saying, Janae. I just think that you're being quite nice and lovely, as you always are. So leave the vitriol to me. I'll absorb it. I'll call it what it is. Here's the reality of the situation. She instigated this kind of stuff. Let's call it what it is. She was waving. She was doing the Cena. How about what she did to Raven Johnson? She didn't just go into the lane and not guard her against South Carolina in the national semifinal. She waved her off. She didn't mind being disrespectful. So why we all know that there's a white-black issue here? Because the fact of the matter is, when Caitlin did it, people were celebrating it. And they were talking about nothing but her greatness. But then the second a sister stepped up and threw it back in her face, now you got half the basketball world saying, well, you know what? That's not the classiest thing to do. Yeah. That's not the way.
It was the exact same thing.
It was the exact same thing. Now, you can make an argument.
Shannon, do you have any problem with Angel Reese's taunting of Caitlin Clark?
I have no problem whatsoever. This is about the portrayal of how women, we see it two different ways. 48 hours ago when Caitlin Clark did this John Cena, it was considered swag. 48 hours later, Angel Reese does the exact same gesture. It's classless. Keith Olbermann went as far as to say she was an idiot. Not just an idiot, an effing idiot. For you to stoop so low to call a college kid, a female, because she did a gesture, when you didn't say anything when Caitlin Clark did it. It's funny how, Skip, it's funny how America, society sees black and white. White person does the exact same gesture.
So, was with Angel Reese the same that was Caitlin Clark did? Well, the answer to that question is absolutely not. They're not even remotely close to being the same. Again, and by the way, the video evidence is out there for anyone who wants to see it. I don't see why anybody won't go look at the video evidence to see for themselves and not have the media and the race hustlers brainwash you into believing something. But anyway, if we go to the video, we will see that it was a complete obvious difference. What Caitlin Clark did is she basically, in a game against Louisville. Now, people say she did it before, but I haven't seen any other video. The only video I've seen is the Louisville video. But when they played Louisville in the tournament, I believe that was in a tournament, but she walked off, was headed toward her bench, and she did the "You see me, you can't see me." Now, if you pay attention to what she did, she was walking toward her bench, and according to her, she was directing it at her bench, but there were no other players around her. She wasn't taunting anyone. She didn't direct it to anybody. She just simply did the "You can't see me" sign, right? The John Cena, and actually it wasn't even that flamboyant. It lasted about less than a second, and had the cameras not been on her, because she's their star player, and she's one of the top players in the league this year. She basically, if the camera wouldn't have been on her, nobody would have never even seen it. That's how quick it was. But she wasn't taunting anyone. She didn't get in anyone's face. She didn't direct at anybody. She was headed toward her bench. Well, what Angle Reese did was complete far cry from that, okay? That wasn't celebration. What she did was taunting. She literally directed it at Caitlin Clark, right? When it was evident that the game was over and LSU had the game in hand with like 10 seconds left, she basically was directed her, "You can't see me," at Caitlin Clark. And then once the game was over, at some point, she literally was walking behind her to get in her face to do the "you can't see me," and then started doing the ring finger point. Okay, that was taunting, and it was classless on her part. It was absolutely classless on Angle Reese's part to do that. You know, is that the type of sportsmanship that we want to promote? No. Especially when you look at out there's a certain group of individuals that are known for displaying such behavior, ratchet behavior, acting a certain way, and yes, that's black females who usually get criticized. So why would a black female perpetuate a stereotype that's labeled on black people, and then people get complain? Then people complain because you label a black woman who does it as being that. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, what she did was classless, and she was taunting. And now people would say, well, you know, they always gonna do that to black folk. Really? Well, not really, because there's been a lot of black people in sports who celebrated and nobody criticized them. Right? When we saw Aaron Donald, when they beat the Bengals 2 years ago to win the championship, to win the Super Bowl, we saw Aaron Donald run off and do the ring celebration toward his bench. Nobody criticized Aaron Donald for that. Again, the ring celebrations is basically almost the same thing. No criticism. Right? And then you got Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is known for the jump in the air, the fist pump celebration. That's basically an iconic a video of Jordan, right? Nobody criticized Jordan for celebrating. Then you had Ray Lewis, right? We all know about the Ray Lewis very iconic pregame dance. Has anybody criticized him for his pregame dance? No, not only is he not being criticized, it was celebrated by Ravens fans and really fans alike. It's a very iconic moment for the Ravens. And people celebrated. Nobody criticized him for his pregame dance. But you know what they didn't do? They didn't get in anyone's face. They didn't taunt anyone. So there's a great difference. Now I know these black people are saying, well, they wouldn't do it to white folks. Oh, really? Well, I seem to recall Johnny Manziel. You know, Johnny Manziel was very flashy. He had a very flashy attitude. He had his ridiculous off the field record, and the media criticized him for it. Matter of fact, I remember once when he did the money sign that he was known for. He did that directed at a player. What happened? A flag for unsportsmanlike conduct, and I'm guarantee you a fine from the league. So white people don't get reprimanded. And matter of fact, black folks, these race hustlers, were using Johnny Manziel as an excuse for Colin Kaepernick. And they were saying, well, Johnny Manziel is getting away with all this stuff. And why they were saying that Johnny Manziel is always getting away with stuff, he was in the Canadian League. I'm like, do y'all even pay attention? Right? And then we have the U.S. female soccer team or world football team. They won the most recent World Cup. They were criticized for their raunchy behavior and raunchy celebration. I remember that. They weren't even taunting anyone, and they were still criticized because of their behavior that they were displaying during their celebrations. So don't tell me that it doesn't happen to white people. It does. And I'm pretty sure if we do any deep research into sports history, we'll find more examples on both sides of the media just basically criticizing bad celebration and taunting. There's no evidence to show that they're racist against Angle Reese. No, the criticism against her was very valid, and I agree it was absolutely classist. Now, glad to see that the Lady Tigers won. My Tigers won, and anytime I see them when LSU wins a championship, especially with sports that I really into, I care about, I'm definitely happy. And I guarantee you, with the level of coaching that they have, and the fact that they're going to be able to recruit because of this championship, it's not a one-time deal. Trust me, they're not one and done. But you still have to show class. And that's what people were criticizing. The criticism by sports media was absolutely valid. It was classist on her part, and I hope that she learns better than this and be a better ambassador for basketball, especially for females basketball, as she starts to translate, as she transitions to the WNBA, but she's most certainly going to go, because the WNBA needs the help, but they don't need classist acts. Anyway, y'all, like I said, the sports media was right, and I completely agree with them with the criticism. It was very warranted for what she did. Again, there was complete obvious difference between what both players did, and anybody who says otherwise is just basically full of shit at the end of the day. Anyway, like I said, they were right, she was wrong, end of story. And as always, y'all, until next time.